We'll see the day of the bye.
Money, 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 money. We got that Fly Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. Money, 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 money. We got that Fly Nubian money. We talk about that money. We all about that money. We love our black skin, our melanin, always focusing in on that money. We always win, money never thin, 'cause we hustling, always focusing in money, 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 money. We got that money, 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 money. We that Fly Nubian money. Boss talk, only we stack it up. We talk about that money. We all that money. Fly Nubian money. Fly Nubian money.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tierra Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood and Karma J. It just depends on the day. And today we are talking about TLC singer Chilli, who is facing backlash after reports that she donated $1,000. I think somebody said something about 17 payments. I don't know if all of those 17 payments it accumulated up to $1,000, but she basically donated money to Trump's campaign and then made a joke about Michelle Obama. Now, let's be honest. One thing that Black people love is them is one thing we can agree on is that most people do not support Donald Trump, and then they love them some Barack and Michelle. So you cannot make fun of either one of them. People are protective of that. So this came with obviously a reaction. I don't think that she was anticipating. And so, we're going to talk about this today because I feel like a part of her, I wonder, is it okay to have your own political opinions without having to be canceled? And what I notice is that Black women, it feels like Black women who support Trump or support opposing views are canceled first. So we're going to have the conversation. We're going to break it down to the very last compound today. I can't have this conversation by myself. I am joined by Dr. Charm, who is back. Welcome back, sis. How you doing?
I'm great.
Wonderful. And then Dr. Angeline is with me today. And so I want to just jump into this conversation. Dr. Angeline, you all right this morning?
I'm better than okay, sis.
Yes. Okay. So let's jump into this conversation, y'all. So first of all, had you heard, I'll start with you, Dr. Charm. Had you heard about Chilli donating funds, and initially, what did you think?
Initially, I was a little surprised, but then not very much surprised because Trump has a lot of supporters. There's a lot of people who are conservative and they're secretly conservative. And so I wasn't like in utter shock, but just a little bit.
Okay. So people are secretly, I'm seeing that more and more, as a matter of fact, Dr. Charm. So you're absolutely right. What about you, Dr. Angeline? What were your initial reactions?
I too, like Dr. Charm, I wasn't surprised. And the same thing, I say the same thing. I'm finding out more people that were behind the scenes Trump supporters, more and more, even in my own little circle. And I'm like, this is making for some great conversation. So yes.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have an issue. I do have friends that support, and I notice through tone. Like I'll say something and be like, because we in a war, and one of my friends will say, but the war isn't really Trump's fault because this and this and this, and I'll just be like, okay, I'll just notice little things when things come up that deal with the American people or just like opposing views. They'll be like okay with it and making excuses for it. So that's something that I've noticed more in the Black community. Do you, before we go to this first video, Dr. Charm, do you notice, first of all, do you have an issue with people secretly supporting Trump, or how do you feel about that? Like, support who you support, or do you believe in canceling people because of their beliefs? Uh-oh, you are muted.
I think it's unfortunate that people have to go underground to support Trump, that they can't be open with it. I was actually friends at one time with a very famous Black Hollywood actor who pretty much got canceled for being a conservative and Trump supporter. And what he said to me was that there were many other celebrities who were going in his DM and telling him that, hey, we secretly support, are more conservative and we support Trump, but we can't come out and say anything about it because our careers would be threatened. And though I am not a Trump supporter, I support some of his policies. I don't support Trump as a person. I think he's racist. But I can see how many Black people, and this is what happened during the election, support some of his policies, like cracking down on illegal immigration and some of the other things. And I can see how some of the celebrities would support him because he's for tax cuts for the rich. And these are in that 1%, that group who would benefit from some of his policies. So it's unfortunate we have First Amendment rights that many of these people feel that they have to go underground, and actually they do, because they could get canceled or lose career opportunities.
Yeah. It's so interesting because as I've seen it roll out, right? The policies were one thing, but like all the narratives that we got after that were another. So and I'm coming to you, Dr. Angeline. I think if you're still standing on this or on that side of history, right? People coming out saying, I'm a Trump supporter, like Nicki Minaj came out and just openly said, this is where I align. Do you think that when other Black people align with Trump, it is first of all, does it matter to you, Dr. Angeline? Do you feel like do you think it's just a financial thing? What does it matter to you? I'll start there.
So no, it doesn't matter to me because we all have our own beliefs. We all have a right to, support who we want to support. My issue comes when people try to make me be in alignment with what their thoughts are, right? Like, so some of my friends, they will, well, girl, you see, da 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 da, and I'm like, I don't support that. I too agree with some of his things, but to say that I would vote for him, absolutely not. And I understand what Dr. Charm said. Some of these people are protecting their money. They're protecting their careers. Some of my other friends that are in business, they were like, well, let me show you. This is why I voted for Trump, because he helped my business go from A to Z, right? And my thing is, okay, he helped you, but what about the collective? Right. So are you only thinking about yourself? So these are some of the conversations with especially people who say that they're community activists, they're down for the people. But my conversation with them is, are you down for everybody, or is this all about you? So I'm grateful to be able to have conversations where, I'm not deleting my friendships, because I've seen that too, where some people are like, oh no, you support Donald Trump, you are not my friend, you're deleted. So no, I'm not going that far unless they come off with something racist, then you'll get deleted.
Yeah, it's so interesting how some people won't go to Target, but they'll still support Donald Trump. So, like some Black people will. So I think that's interesting that people are like, well, there's it becomes a thing about, I think that it, like I said initially, and I won't make this about Trump, but I think it's interesting. I won't make this about Trump, but I think it's interesting. It's a very complex thing, Dr. Charm, when we're talking about supporting someone who doesn't support policy. So do you think that people that align with Trump are standing on the wrong side of history in this situation? Like, just in this particular situation, do you think that?
I think people who blindly align with Trump are standing on the wrong side of history. Again, if they were not so afraid to criticize him, because you have this two things. You've got the conservatives who secretly really don't agree with all his policies, but they've got to show force and show face and say, okay, well, he's our president, we're going to stand behind him. And, we're 1,000% behind Trump, when really they don't agree with everything, but they can't publicly come out and criticize him. And then you have the other side, you have the liberals and the Democrats, like, we hate Trump, we all this, they're racist, they're this and this, they're authoritarian, no kings and this kind of thing. But then secretly they do support some of his policies, like maybe the immigration or some of the help to the veterans, or his stance on the jab and how he felt about that. So it's unfortunate that people can't be nuanced in their opinions and publicly expressing them, though privately they may have other thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it's just the way. Maybe it's just the way it all rolled out. Even immigration is crazy because I feel like it's hard to stand behind something or somebody and then watch like ICE like drag people out of their home, even if they're documented or not, like sending Americans to places they've never been before because they, it's just it feels like more chaos than anything. And so it's hard, right? I think sometimes and I'm just thinking about the research that I've done about how the Black community has, everybody's like, well, I was in Black women, of course, are like, I was in that 92% that voted for Kamala. And, you would rather, I think I saw a message earlier that said one of my friends was pumping gas, and he said he paid like $99 or something to fill up his tank, and he was like, all of this because you didn't want to vote for a Black woman. So it's so interesting where I just feel like it's one of those things that you really, Black people are very sensitive about their president, and I think it was the way it all happened. There's a difference between MAGA and there's a difference between conservatives. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that, Dr. Angeline?
I sure do. I was just
Okay.
looking at Walter's comment, and I thought the same thing, right? You could still be conservative, but when you go full blown MAGA, then you taking me to a whole nother level that, yeah, we're not doing this. And I appreciate Dr. Charm also talking about how some of our own Democrats are still, when I look at this whole Israel stuff and who's taking money from these PACs, from the Democratic people, when we're looking at Palestine, when we're looking at Iran, when we're looking at all these things, you still standing with Trump on that. So again, we're picking and choosing what is okay, what is not okay. And again, it goes back to, I understand why some of these people stay behind the scenes, in some of their thought processes.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, from day to day, I think you see videos of him just talking any kind of way to any people. I mean, it's obvious there's like not much decorum. It's hard to stand behind it. Even if you was like, okay, yeah. I mean, I live in California, and I don't necessarily believe in all like the liberal things of like what they're doing with the kids and kids not having to say out loud how they identify. And there's all like I feel like there can when we go left, they go all the way left, like, or when we go right, it's like we go MAGA. And for the Black people like myself who just kind of like are in the middle going, this is too much. This is too much, right? I think that you can't, and when people openly align, like I don't know if would you donate, Dr. Charm? Have you ever donated to a presidential campaign?
Have I donated? I don't think I have. No, I mean, I voted for president, but I tend to donate more on issues. So I probably donated more to local government, not necessarily national presidential campaigns. I know I've donated on local issues because mental health y'all know mental health is like a big thing for me. And so that's something that I've donated to before in other causes.
Okay. All right. What about you, Dr. Angeline? Have you ever donated to a campaign?
I'm the same. All politics are local for me. So I start locally, absolutely. But to be quite honest, I haven't liked any of our presidents. If you really want me to tell you the truth, I have issues with all of them that we've had. So nah. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, let's go to this first video.
Chilli from TLC is a MAGA supporter, and I've been asked to give my thoughts. So here goes. In 2017, she said all lives matter. She got dragged, and then she walked it back. Then we find out she's following Don Jr., Tommy Lahren, Terrence Williams, and Newsmax. No progressive sites at all. Then she reposts some debunked conspiracy theory about Michelle Obama from an account that pushes flat earth and lizard people. And she never addressed it. Then, the FEC has dropped their records and nearly $800 to Trump's PAC, $63 to NRSC, and $7 to Ted Cruz. 17 donations in all. So This isn't a slip, this is a pattern. She went from no scrubs to now financing one. Now, here's where it gets complicated. T-Boz has sickle cell. She has publicly fought for the Affordable Care Act through policies that now Chilli's money helps to defund. This is weird. But T-Boz knows this. She has always known this, and she is still on that tour. They just announced their tour. So either they have an understanding we're not privy to, or T-Boz is operating at a level of compartmentalizing what's going on between them. You know, that might be a teachable moment for all of us, because how many of us have someone we love whose politics make our stomach turn? Here. And we still show up, right? So T-Boz is modeling something a lot of us preach, but very few actually practice.
Okay. So now that we've laid the foundation for the conversation, Dr. Charm, what do you think of what is your response to her video? What she says?
I actually saw that video, and when she said that T-Boz is still on tour, so Chilli's beliefs are supposed to mess up T-Boz's money and over 30 years, numerous Grammy Awards and American Music Awards and Image Awards and all kind of things because of Chilli's donations. No, that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to let someone else's beliefs mess with their money. And they've been friends for years. So I do agree with her video and saying that it's a teachable moment, but all of it feels like a witch hunt. They're going on tour. I will be there at the tour because I want to see. I've never seen TLC. I would have loved to have seen it when Left Eye was alive, but I've never seen TLC. I wish Dawn was back at In Vogue, but I'll take Maxine and all the original girls. So I'll take that as a win. And then who else is going on tour with that? Oh, Salt and Pepper. I've seen Salt and Pepper before. So I'll be at the tour, and people need to calm down.
Okay. All right. People unfriend or unfamily their family behind political beliefs. People are getting divorces behind political beliefs. You would not believe the level of I feel like somebody a man just recently unalived his daughter because of her support for Trump, right? Like she had an issue. He was like, well, I don't know, grape isn't that bad. I mean, actually, like it was around the Epstein files, and she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you are supporting human trafficking. And it escalated, and he shot her and killed his own daughter. So politics is a real hot button for a lot of people. Dr. Angeline, what was your response to that video? What do you think?
Politics and religion, right? They said don't discuss that over the table. So I thought the same thing pretty much. Listen, what's the song? I got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. Like that's where T-Boz is right now. She got her money on her mind on her money and her money on her mind. She is not going to delete her friend over this. And guess what? She don't have to, because now everybody else is coming for her friend. My hope, though, is that they don't cancel them, and then the whole tour takes an impact based on this.
Right. I'm seeing that more and more, Dr. Charm. As I was going down the rabbit hole, that's exactly what I saw. I saw Black people in particular saying, I am not going to support the tour, making little, what is it? I saw something that said 4 letters took her to the final resting place, MAGA, like, right? Like people are really are considering or talking about like not supporting the tour because of this debacle. What do you think about that?
Yet and still, they're still shopping at Walmart, who mistreats their employees. I was at Walmart yesterday, still at Target, even though, I guess technically they've ended the boycott, and everybody else that has questionable policies. Unfortunately, you have to take the good with the bad. And yes, going to a concert is a choice. It totally is. But the political opinion of one group member is, I just think it's inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. These people are icons and legends, and we need to stand behind our icons and legends. I mean, short of her over there being on the if she was on the Epstein list, that'd be a whole different other story. But speaking of, the people on the Epstein list will never be prosecuted. Why are we talking about Chilli and her donating what amount, not even I don't even think she donated $50,000 to Trump. When you got these people that are on private planes flying, eating children and all kind of other stuff, and they will never see a prison cell. The family that's responsible for opioid addiction, the Sackler family, had a multi-billion-dollar settlement. They got your papa and grandma and all them back on that heroin on that horse on account of getting addicted to these prescription pills through the doctors and through the pharmaceutical industry. And these people will never see a day of jail. That was the terms of the settlement. Let's find something better to talk about and put our oomph behind.
Okay. All right. Now there's a lot of passion in that, right? Dr. Angeline, I'm wondering when it comes to canceling, like, right? So it's so interesting that this week we saw Nick Cannon also came out and, spoke so most Black people are calling half truths about the Democratic Party, because to be honest, like, Black people are just aligned. It is what it is. We are aligned with the Democratic Party in a way. And, there's obviously, we have the history of that. Oh, Jesus. Okay. That happens. So I guess my question to you is it okay? Is it, when it comes to canceling and all of that, is there ever a reason to cancel one another? Is there ever a reason to cancel a performer or a public figure?
For me, now, if they would have came out with supporting all of Trump's racist antics, then you get no more of my money. Absolutely not. You are canceled for me. In that part of the situation, that's what I think. I did see the Nick Cannon thing, and I knew they was coming for him. As soon as I saw it, I knew it. And as somebody who is no longer a Democrat but a registered proud independent, because I'm sick of both of them. I say it all the time. They both the plantation, and I've had enough of both of us, so I had to get off of both. So that was me canceling both of them. So yeah, for me, there is a time where I had to cancel and just be like, I've had it. I'm done. Enough is enough.
Okay. I feel like you said if you support their racist policies, but I think the whole idea is if you support them and they are racist, openly racist, and you put money behind them, then you are supporting what they are. You're supporting whatever it is that they say. If you're putting money behind any type of financial donation, you are saying, I am aligned and I believe what they are saying. Dr. Charm, what do you think about that?
I do think putting money behind something shows a little bit more, it shows a little bit more direction and intention. Chilli said that she put her money behind Trump because of his policies towards veterans. And I do have to agree with the fact that veterans need to have their needs addressed. I have seen some of the conditions in which, especially in mental health, a lot of these people on the street, you got Vietnam veterans and Afghanistan veterans, and the veteran healthcare system is completely broken. And so if she believes that some of Trump's policies will help veterans, or if her publicist just told her to say it, but whatever, I'm going to take it at face value that she believes in the veterans and he stands behind the veterans and she wants to contribute in that way, then I don't have a problem with that. Because again, it goes back to my original comment that I think many Black people did not vote for Kamala, and some of them even turned to vote for Trump as a protest against how we've been neglected, the benign neglect of the Democratic Party. So it could be just a protest situation with Chilli or with some of the other people who do turn conservative or lean in that direction.
Right. Do you want to add something to that, Dr. Angeline?
Yeah, I think though where Chilli caught it though too, as we said in the beginning, was the whole Michelle Obama thing. It was bad enough you already put some money behind Trump, whether they considered the veterans, whether they considered anything. But then when she did the thing, reposted, and then I watched something where she said she was scrolling and accidentally hit the like now that right there was straight stupid. Now that was dumb. You should have just kept your mouth shut, because now you really do look like you're lying.
Yes.
And then I read it was another comment too where somebody had said something about like, oh, she's a pretty chocolate girl, and she was like, I'm caramel, I'm not chocolate. So they were like coming for her for that. Now, like, now that you got a white man, you can't be chocolate. Like, what's going on? So it was so many many other little factors that started creeping in behind all of this for her. But when she said she hit the button, I was just like, now sis, I was trying to work with you, but
Yeah.
that right there,
I agree.
But you
I
know,
agree. I think that's it. When people thought that she was lying, and we're gonna play this video in a second, but I think that's it. I think it's like you playing in my face, kind of like I have a degree in public relations, so I just kind of felt like, girl, you could have just not said anything, and then just like kind of let it die down, or not try to be like, oops, I accidentally, ooh, and then
but
you
you
kept
know
it
what? People can accidentally repost stuff. I'm not trying to just
and keep
blindly
it up
believe her,
and
but
keep it up
on
and keep it up.
Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
no, on Facebook, they now have a dislike button. I can't tell you how many times, because I'm on my phone, a comment that I may be wanting to put an emoji to is right next to the dislike button, and I've accidentally disliked probably like a comment a day, and I have to catch myself like, hey, it's because the button is so close to the emoji button. And so what I think what was really revealing is when they showed who else she was following, that she's following Tommy Lahren, that she's following Donald Trump. And I think what may have happened is that when there are people who you follow and you'll just repost anything they put, and she may have just hit repost because these are people she follow and she agrees with most of what they're saying. But I will say that the thing about, I don't think Chilli as a Black woman would stand behind somebody accusing another Black woman of being a man. It just doesn't even make any sense to me. I think she's just blindly reposting those conservative people that she follows.
well, then she's still responsible
No.
for doing that. She still should be held accountable. That's to me is not an excuse, right? At all. I don't even know if I believe that, because you had to go all the way back in your stuff to read that something you reposted years ago to then repost now with Michelle. Like,
And you
I
reposted.
can't give her that. I can't give her
Yes.
that.
Dr. Charm, you said that you hit dislike, right? 9 times out of 10, if you hit dislike, you're like, oh no, let me hit like, right? I
But if I had,
reposted. Let me hold on. I
okay,
reposted. I reposted. Let me unpost this. If I don't believe that Michelle Obama was a man and I'm not getting in on the joke, I'm not going to keep it on my timeline. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I've heard my friends, again, I heard a good friend of mine who is secretly a Trump supporter, right? Was like, yeah, there's no baby pictures of Michelle, like just that same. It's a thing, but when you watch Becoming, you see baby pictures of Michelle. Like it's ridiculous that you're even talking. Like, what are you talking about? And this is somebody that supports the Black community, didn't necessarily support Obama, whatever, right? So I just think that it's a narrative that Republicans had and conservatives had, and people got in on the joke, and she got in on the
so
joke.
what? Okay, so what changed? Because Chilli said that she donated to Michelle. She voted for Barack Obama twice. She's donated to their campaign. She's donated to some things involving Michelle Obama. That shows some consistent behavior, prior behavior. What changed? So if it's true that she deliberately reposted this thing questioning the biological sex of Michelle Obama, what shifted that would cause her to turn conservative, to exhibit this behavior, if indeed that's true? That's the bigger question for me.
Do we have the receipts? Right? She could say it, but we got the receipts of her donating to Donald Trump. We don't see the receipts. Why didn't she post the receipts of her donating to?
Well,
Did
I
she
mean,
post
that's
the
easily
receipts?
provable. That's easily provable, and we haven't seen anyone come out and say that she did not support, because she also talked about maybe going to some events or supporting some events. We haven't seen anybody come out and publicly counter that, saying that no, there's no record of her donating to Michelle Obama. There's no record of this and this and that. So I'm going to believe her face value, because that kind of thing is provable. But I want to know what shifted in her thinking that would cause her to go from double Obama voter, supporting their initiatives financially, supporting Michelle Obama on different events and issues, to going conservative and going MAGA. That's the bigger conversation, because I find that quite a few Black people have started to have this shift and exhibit this behavior.
Well, it's interesting because I remember, I mean, we were all here together around the election, and I remember us having these conversations, and you know, some of our queens stood on the panel as women that reflected those beliefs, right? And so who were tired of, like you said earlier, tired of whatever, you know, what the Democrat party stood for and wanted a fresh regime, if you will. And you know, we all got what y'all, what, you know, what they wanted, right? We got it. And we see the results of that in the middle of a war. But let's go to the video and see exactly maybe what shifted.
Hey guys, I wanted to come on here to address a few things that's circulating on the internet that's very concerning to me. Let me say this first. I have the utmost respect and admiration for Michelle Obama, and I would never say or do anything that is disrespectful to her or to any woman. I would never do that. And I had no clue that this repost had happened until I started getting phone calls and text messages from everybody, and I immediately went to my page to see what was going on. Now, mind you, I'm not very computer savvy, so I'm looking for this repost button, and I see that all of these buttons are very, very close to each other. And clearly I was scrolling and my thumb hit the repost button. Again, I had no clue that something like this happened until I got all the calls. But of course, I took that down, and you know, I would never post anything like that. I would never do something like that. That is not my character. I have supported the Obamas. I gave to the campaign, both runs, voted twice for him, and supported the organization that Michelle had in the schools for exercise for the kids. I would never do anything that's harmful or hateful to anybody. You know, I'm just not wired like that.
Okay. All right. I don't believe it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't believe it. I mean, I know PR when I see it, but Dr. Angeline, go ahead. I'm gonna just let you.
Even when you hit repost, because I'm not the most computer savvy person either. Even when you hit repost, you still have to hit send. So absolutely, when I hit repost, it still comes up and says, do you want to repost with so-and-so's comments? Or do you want to do this with this? And you still have to hit the send button.
And
so that right there, absolutely
No,
not.
that's not true. That's not true on Twitter. On Twitter, on X, you just hit the button and it's gone. On that. So
is that where her comment was? X?
I believe it might have been Twitter or Instagram, but it's not like, you know, I can see where she could have just hit it and gone, but
she still watched it first. You got to watch it. You know, you just not report. You just not, if it says, if the caption at this point, there's captions like proof Michelle Obama is a man, and you like you, I don't know. I don't believe. Okay, so you believe you're gonna give her the benefit of the doubt, Dr. Charm. That's what you're saying.
I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. I do realize that this is PR. I do realize that she is speaking in a very diplomatic tongue. But Chilli is an icon. I don't agree with. I would not be donating to Trump at all. But I'm going to the concert. Shout out to Chilli. I think maybe this is a little bit of a wake-up call that Chilli needs to be a bit more careful of, and she needs to hide better behind closed doors.
Well, now they're bringing her white man into it, and that's where she changed.
But I'm going to the concert, and shout out to Chilli. Chilli look damn good. That lady don't. How old is she? 50 what? That girl look good.
She does look good. We're gonna keep it positive. You know what though? You know what this makes me think of? So let's back up for a little bit because I want to have this conversation. I feel like, and I'll just come to you, Dr. Angeline. Black women get the brunt of cancellation, right? You see, we are still being very, not because Dr. Charm is not. I'm not being hard on Chilli. I'm just saying I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe it. Like, the stack is like, it's not given and it sounds like BS. And I have a PR degree. Like, that's what I got. That's what right? And so I understand. I see all of the things. It's like, you know, I see it. I see the you know, the genuine eyes and the I would never do this, right? But let's talk about it a little bit. Chrisette Michele, who sang at a gala, if you guys remember, singer Chrisette Michele, who was canceled after singing at Trump's gala, one of his first galas, if not the first one. And her life was completely changed after that, right? But we had Snoop Dogg, we had Nelly perform, we had Kanye. People still bought Yeezys and all of the things. So it's like there is a double standard when it comes to Black men and women in terms of cancellation. Like we really do as a community pick and choose. Nikki out of there, right? For the most part. Nikki is gone, according to other people. Chrisette Michele gone, and then now we are coming for Chilli, but we don't come for the men. So I want to know in the comments, because I ain't talked to y'all today. I see y'all. Anonymous, what's up? Double A, Deborah will win. The Black Lexicon, I see y'all. And I want to know, first of all, I didn't ask y'all if you had donated to a campaign. I want to know. But do you also see that we cancel, men or women first over men? Dr. Angeline, do you see that as a pattern?
Malcolm already told us Black women are the most disrespected, unprotected, and neglected. So, absolutely, I do see it. And unfortunately, I see our Black men come for our Black women in times like these as well, when a lot of times our Black women do stand with our Black men, and sometimes we don't. But I see it even from them canceling us just as quick. So yeah, I do believe that they come for us. Oh, absolutely. They do. It's not even about believing it. Is they do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Malcolm warned us.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Dr. Charm?
I mean, Kanye is apologizing to the Blacks and Jews every 2.5 business days, and he's still on tour. When he dropped his clothing line, the $20 raggedy looking t-shirts, I mean, it sold out. So yes, there's a double standard. Yes, Black women are always going to be what did Zora Neale Hurston say? Mules and men. That's the title of her book, Mules and Men. Okay, not women and men. So yeah, so that's why I'm standing with Chilli. I will be at the concert. I will be at the show. Don't be chasing waterfalls. I'll be there dancing. I might try to find me some cross colors and a hat to the back, okay, in commemoration of the 90s. But we need to not be so quick to jump on the bandwagon about stuff, really and true.
Yeah. My thing, though, is here's my thing with this. Mm-hmm. If this is what you believe, stand on it. Stand on it. At least Nicki Minaj was like, guess what, boo? I'm here. This is what I'm standing on. If you cancel me, you cancel me. You don't like it. If you don't like it, whatever. I'm here. I said it.
But Nicki can afford to. Nicki's making way more money than Chilli. Nicki still brings in a lot of money, and she's got a bigger fan base a bigger recent fan base. I'll put it that way.
Stand on it. I like it. I like it.
I said it. Remember that thing? I said it. I meant it. I'm here to represent it. Remember we used to say that? So that's the same thing for right now.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. That might be throwback. Which I don't remember that. Well, that was in the 90s.
Yeah, girl, that's from the 90s. Yeah.
When y'all say that?
I just remember set it and forget it.
I used to even be like part of a cheer. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Listen, I agree with that. And I think that's it. Like if you, and we actually, let me go to a video on this, right? Because I do believe that it's like we as let's just stand on what we say. Like we don't have to backpedal. You don't have to be like, oh, I accident on my finger. It was my thumb. Jesus, it was my thumb that did it because I was hitting the repost, but then I wasn't hitting the repost.
Look what Nick said. Nick said, I F's with Trump. He said it loud and with his full chest. But he's a man and he can afford to do that. A woman can't afford to do that, and it's unfortunate.
Nipsey said that.
He sure did. In this last
if Nip was here, got arrested. So if he was
Nick Cannon.
Oh, Nick Cannon. Oh, Nick Cannon.
Yeah,
like Nipsey said that.
Yeah, Nick Cannon said that. He was like, "Yep, yep." He said, "I F's with Trump" during that interview, and that's what I say, because he's a man. He's afforded the ability to do that with less backlash than a female celebrity.
I don't know. At Nick Cannon, yeah, we're gonna come back to Nick Cannon, but I do agree. I think that Black women face a lot more scrutiny. I think that we, unfortunately, now I don't want to cancel Chilli. right? I do think that this is a teachable moment, but I don't want her to lose her livelihood, right? I'm not saying I'm going to the TLC concert either, but I'm saying like, and not just because I don't want to go, not because you supported Trump and all of the politics behind it. I just feel like I don't want to do that, right? But I don't think she should lose her life and her livelihood. I mean, my heart goes out to Chrisette Michele every time I see an interview of her because she was extremely talented, an amazing singer. She was on her way, doing all the things, and then this one thing, this one moment, changed her entire life. Let's go to this other video, y'all. I like this video.
Supported
This
Trump. You need to
brother's
stop being a coward, the Chilli from TLC, and stand on it. So apparently Chilli donated money to a Trump campaign in 2024, $1,000 donation, and she probably is a Trump supporter, right? But the black mafia, the black dysfunctional mob, came after her like she was a drug dealer because she supported a political candidate. Now, this is the same black community, right, that supports trash, the trash that they support, Cardi B and some of the most trashes of King Von. They celebrated King Von, who was a criminal, who was a mass murderer, right, who killed people and they listened to music with rap lyrics that actually puts people they killed. So you can't, so we are not allowed, black celebrities, black people aren't allowed to vote for Trump. They aren't allowed to support Trump, but we don't have the nerve to call out the dysfunction in our community. The fact that most of y'all black women don't even know who y'all baby daddy is. Y'all either do know who your baby daddy is, or you have no father in the homes, or you have the black communities on government assistance. Now, this is not to all black people. This is to the ones that act like we are a monopoly, that you cannot. The way they coming after people like Nick Cannon, the way they come after black people who decide to think on their own. So this woman released a statement on, I apologize. Why are you apologizing for who you donated to? You are a free person, but she's scared she's going to get canceled. She's scared her money going to dry up. So now she's trying to backtrack her support, like Jennifer Hudson. When Trump helped her out, let her stay in his hotel, she won't even say nothing. Steve Harvey, right? Because there's a lot of black people that support Trump, but they are scared to death to say they support Trump because of the black dysfunctional mafia in our community and black Hollywood. Look what they're doing to Nicki Minaj. Look what they're trying to do to Nick Cannon. Because apparently in this country, we have two political parties. You're only allowed to support the one party that has done nothing for black people since the civil rights movement.
all right.
Ooh.
Ooh, now, I like a good perspective. I'm not the one to be like, I don't agree with what he said. That's interesting, right? It's an interesting conversation because you're right. Like, there are sections of the black community that are dysfunctional. There are, we're not a monolith. So there are, there's black people that he's talking about, but I think that there are, we are varied in thought and belief. And I think that we should be able to do that. Dr. Angeline, what do you think about the video and what he said?
Well, let me say this. I did have a little attitude because I don't be talking about people, baby mamas, dramas, and fathers ain't in the home. We're not going to talk about historical perspectives that go with it. Now, with that being said, did some of the stuff that he's, like you said, some of the stuff he said is very true. I have many issues with many black Democrats because of the way my communities look. I have severe issues with a lot of my local black mayors. When I go sit in their offices and I'm looking at the harm, the predatorial and intentionality of the harm that they are allowing to go on in their communities. So I fully agree with him with that part. And for the record, none of these systems are broken. They are working as they were designed from the beginning to work. They are not for us, which again is why I said I drop kick both parties. But yeah. So at first I had to calm down a little bit because I ain't like maybe how he said it. And I think that reminded me of that man that was debating Oh, what is her name? She got canceled. Seals, Amanda Seals. That
Oh,
was debating Amanda Seals on one of those shows, and he's like pro-Israel and all this other kind of stuff. So I think I kind of was triggered by that for a minute. But some of the stuff that he is saying, okay, I agree, because I say the same thing about some of these black Democrats making all this money in the stock market, making all of this money, and then what are they doing? And if I was to name some of them, people probably would be talking about me in these comments too. But research, just do your research, because it's a whole bunch of them that ain't taking care of us either.
yeah. I always stay away from like general statements and like, you get into conversation with people. I always back out of these conversations. Black people can never, we just can't get it together because black people ain't got no money. Black people ain't, when I hear people start to do that, I be like, but I totally can understand where he's coming from when he says that that's select outrage, right? But I think that's an American thing. I think American just in general has a selective outrage. We pick and choose when it's convenient what we're going to rally behind, what we're going to cancel. We make it cute, right? So yeah, I twerk sometimes, but or I'll back certain rappers or certain situations, but the music is my guilty pleasure, or reality TV, I'll support that, but that's just my guilty pleasure, right? Even though it has an impact on our community, but you're outraged when other things happen. So I think that just as black people, sometimes we can deal with selective outrage, and we have that, but it's not all or nothing. Dr. Charm, what do you think about what he said?
I'm going to list some policies, and then I'll go from there. The fact that illegal immigration drives down the black employment rate, specifically for black men, because illegal immigrants are coming in competing in low skilled jobs, which traditionally would go to black men. When you do that, then it increases indirectly the incarceration rate, because if someone can't get a job, then criminality becomes an option, increasing the incarceration rate. This is illegal immigration. Okay. Let's talk about the jab. During Biden's administration, people were forced, rather than de facto saying everyone has to get the jab, whether you have a religious objection to it or not, whether you have a philosophical or ideological objection to it or not. It didn't go de facto that way. It was okay, well then you can't work, you can't get a job. As a result, multi-million-dollar settlements in Illinois. There was a $25 million settlement in the state of New York with healthcare workers who were forced to be fired because they would not take the jab. Military personnel were reinstated, who lost their position in the military were reinstated as a result. This was under a Democratic president, but they're saying no kings. Okay. Houston Community College system is in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with the black employees who were colluded against by the Hispanic employees in the upper administration of the Houston Community College system, colluded against to systematically get rid of black people in power in the Houston Community College system to replace them with Hispanics. Same thing. The LA County city council members who were caught on tape disparaging black American people, saying they wanted to get them out of the program. You have EEOC lawsuits that were settled with stipulations that because of Hispanic workers colluding, eliminating the black workers and replacing them with Hispanic workers. So what I'm saying is that people are fed up with some of these policies that have gone unchecked. I do not agree with what's going on with ICE in the fact of them operating unconstitutionally, but they are enforcing the law. And so people agree with some of the policies, and that is why they may lean towards a certain way. And so I agree with what he's saying with the black community having dysfunction. We cannot blindly follow a party. It is part of a two-headed snake. You have to look at what's going to benefit you the best as a community. And Trump is in office in many respects because it was a protest against what has been going on unchecked in the Democratic community.
Okay. Okay. Well, there obviously I don't want to make this a political debate. Sis dropped some facts. She did that. And so I'll just say that, we talk about the last thing you said was we cannot um follow a party blindly. And I think a lot of people follow Trump blindly. I think I think the proof is in the pudding. Even if the intention was good, the policy was good, a good thought, he didn't have the execution for that, nor did his administration hasn't shown us that they could even execute without it being discriminatory, without it being chaotic. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's order, there's a way to do things, and there's a way to handle people. And I don't know if this is the way, right? Like, so I think that people follow him blindly, and they are gravitated towards that kind of barbaric, like, let's just grab people off the street with their children and throw them in a on a bus and take them wherever, right? I feel like both. I feel like just like people are following Democrats blindly, they're following Trump blindly. Because to me, he hasn't shown anything that's like, that really justifies why we would follow him in the first place, right? Like it's obvious he's not competent for this particular situation. Now, if somebody else was to do it, maybe they would do it with order and decorum, and they just wouldn't be saying anything and just running the country like Death Row Records. That's one thing. But right? Deborah said, I'll vote for Dr. Charm. Listen, Dr. Charm gonna run for president. That's what we gonna do. We
Shout
gonna get
out
a
to
black woman
Deborah.
in here.
I'm too outspoken to be president. I don't like to lie, so I couldn't be a good president.
Because so I'll say that I think we're blind. It's the blind kind of leading the blind, because Trump has never ever had served. He's never served in the military. He doesn't have any. There's just so many things that he hasn't experienced that other presidents have had to go through and have had to show. Like, he's had a reality show, right? And I worked on The Apprentice in 2009, and I realized then that he wasn't very smart. It was like all about. It's all about being a showman. That's it. That's what this is about. And so what I see as a showman, what I see as an actor, you guys see as like confidence, and you hear somebody that can, he's just an actor, y'all. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it's just a producer that worked on a show that he was on.
No,
So
I agree. And that book,
yeah.
I want to say Bob Woodruff's book, or was it Unhinged? I read Omarosa's book. Really, they said that they purport that the election was really him wanting to get more money for The Apprentice, and that's the whole reason why he's turned political and ran for office, because he's always been, what is it, the art of the deal, the showman.
Right.
And so I agree with you in that respect. But unfortunately, he came at a time, and then also he ran against two women, and we're not ready for a female president, and so that was in his favor also.
I think we were ready. I think we were ready.
I don't think that, yeah.
I think we were ready. Elon was just good with the computers. Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Dr. Angeline?
Now I kind of lost my thought, but I do think that we were ready. I just don't think that those two women were the right ones. That's my own personal belief. At all. Especially when I look at Hillary and what all she did to my man Gaddafi. Absolutely not.
Haiti.
And that's right. And Barack Obama sat there and let her do it. Not to mention that if you look at his numbers, his immigration numbers, deporting are even higher than Trump's numbers of deportation. It's just how he did it. Like you said, wasn't that? Yes, absolutely. And I think I read somewhere before too, where Trump didn't think he was going to win. So he was just doing it to come out and just to be seen, and his narcissistic ego and all that other good stuff. So yeah.
Because he didn't win. Okay. All right. Listen. All right. Here we go. So, let me go to this last video, see what this brother is talking about. We're going to do our, like I said, we ran out of things. What is it, y'all? What month is this? April is
April
it a month?
Fool's Day today?
No, it is April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
I should have fooled y'all. But is it a month? Is it a month that represents something? Is April?
I don't know. And today is a full moon. We got a full moon in Virgo from the astrology point of view. So everybody's paying attention to details right now, and poor Chilli is getting the brunt of it.
So April is also International Black Women's Month. April is also Autistic Awareness Month, and April is also Child Abuse Awareness Month.
Okay, so I was just looking for a reason to celebrate Black people this month. So we're gonna, of course, keep the party going and just keep our Black fact of the day, whatever that is, making sure that we honor Black people. So I'm gonna do that. I do have some stats. I don't have them in. I have them right in front of me, so I'm just gonna read them Over 70% of consumers say that they prefer to support people and brands that align with their values. Public public backlash can lead to lost sponsorships within 24 to 72 hours. Black women entrepreneurs and public figures often face stronger scrutiny and faster public criticism online. I wonder why that is, y'all. What we do, right? What is that? Social media can amplify controversy to millions within hours, directly impacting income and opportunity. So those are our stats. And then our Black fact of today is Josephine Baker, who used her platform and her money to support the civil rights movement, even refusing to perform at segregated audiences. She made it clear that how you earn and how you spend your money can both carry weight. So I just think having integrity is important, and making sure you stand on what you say. Stand on it, Chilli. Stand on it, sis. Stand on it. Okay, we about to get into these final thoughts. Oh, let me play this last video. Yeah, I'm gonna play it. I said I was gonna play it, so I'm gonna play it. I'm on the ones and twos today. Here we go.
Nick Cannon telling partial truths and incomplete stories about the Democratic Party to it being revealed that Chilli from TLC is donating to MAGA. It's been a weekend. But this video isn't really about what those two people did particularly. It's about the response to it, especially the people who are on some, oh, people can have a difference of opinion, y'all want to cancel them, yada, yada. And it's like, nah, this is beyond just a difference of political opinion. This is more than just Democrat versus Republican. We're talking about a cult-like operation, one like we haven't seen in our generation, whose goal is seemingly to dismantle democracy, to weaponize the DOJ, the FCC, using them to go after anybody who criticizes them, threatening free speech, wreaking havoc in the streets across the country with their reckless deportation tactics, disregarding the Constitution and the rule of law, among other things. I could go on. So yes, anybody supporting that man in any capacity, be it donating to him or any of his causes, be it following extreme right-wing MAGA minions, justifying his lack of coof, his behavior. If you support that man in any way, that means you support everything he's about and deserve all the smoke that come behind it.
All right. Well, cool. Well, cool. You deserve all the smoke. I just feel like we have to watch who we align with, y'all. We gotta watch, because when you put your money where you put your money, what you work hard for, your blood, sweat, and tears for your money, where you put it says a lot about what you believe and who you are, right? And so I think it's important. Now we're gonna go into our final thoughts. I'm gonna start with you, Dr. Charm, and am I gonna ask you a question, or am I just gonna let you? If Chilli was your friend and you guys were close, what would you tell her? What advice would you give her in this moment? What would you tell her, and what do you say to just make it a little broader? And what do you say to people that may have their own opinions? Obviously, you are a very independent thinker. So, like, what would you tell other people like Chilli who may have a difference of opinion from the pact, and how to conduct themselves?
If Chilli were my girl, Chilli, I'm gonna talk to you, girl. I don't agree with everything that you believe. I don't agree with the Lawrence brother that you ended up with, because we all know Joey was the cuter one, but you got Matthew. I'll be at the concert. I will have my hat to the back. I won't have a condom on one eye, condom patch on one eye, but I will be there at that concert, girl. And I agree with you. Can't get with me with no money. Oh no. Okay. Y'all can find me at Charm Girl 77 on Instagram for funny skits. I just met Mr. Tendernism, Walter Johnson, 2 weeks ago, so I got a video up about that. And I'm enjoying life, y'all. I just moved. And if you want to find an apartment, a luxury apartment in Atlanta area, okay, I just closed 5 deals in the past 45 days. I'm number 2 in the company right now. I've been hustling. Y'all ain't see me out here, but I've been hustling, trying to get people into these apartments, these luxury buildings. They got discounts. And then for people who want to buy homes, first-time home buyer, I'm showing homes. I'm cooking over here. I'm cooking with and without grease. Y'all come see me. Dr. Charm Luxury on the real estate side. Charm Girl 77 on the IG side. I love y'all. Thank you for having me. And Miss Black Hollywood, girl, that intro is fire. I love the new intro.
Drop the mic on him. Drop the mic on him. Okay. I love that. I love that. All right, Dr. Angeline, how you gonna follow up with that? No, I'm just playing.
No, I'm not, because I was sitting here like, oh, now wait a minute.
Set you up. So if Chilli were your friend, and you can make it broader and just talk to your friends, or just talk to people that may be watching that have a difference in opinion, how would you advise them to kind of move through the world right now?
Listen, like I said in the beginning, if she was my friend, I'm going to tell her the same thing I tell the rest of my friends. If that's what you believe and if that's what you support, stand 10 toes down on it. I don't care who comes for you. Stand 10 toes down on it. Now, you also got to recognize that, baby, there's a cost to some of these things, as Chilli is recognizing right now. So sometimes you just may need to shut up. That's what you might need to do as well. Consider the timing if you can't stand 10 toes down on it. So that's why I catch a lot of heat, because I say what I mean and I mean what I say, and I'm not backing down from it, point blank, period. So if you can't do that, when the fire comes, you ain't got no water to put it out, boo. You better figure something out. So absolutely not. And I did not know y'all was putting me behind Dr. Charm. She going to talk about she a comedian. I'm like, wait a minute.
Where can people find you, Dr. Angeline? I got to keep y'all focused.
Okay. So had a blast today on the show. I am Dr. Angeline Dean. You can find me at intersystems.rocks, intersystems with a Z on the end, .rocks. You can find me at info@melanatedneurons.com. I am Dr. Angeline Dean, the CEO of Melanated Neurons Communiverse, an identity affirming STEM and STEAM mini museum in a box, specifically and unapologetically for Black children ages 7 to 12.
Boom. Drop the mic. Okay. And I guess I would just say, you got to watch those buttons, sis. You got to watch those buttons, right? You can't just be out here pressing and blindly reposting things. No, but in all seriousness, I think it comes back to, I'm not saying that you need to support, I think we should support all. I think that Black people just need to unify all together. Like, it's so crazy how we are going to great lengths to cancel one another for what we believe, but really the whole system is not for us in the first place. Like, so if we are pro-Democrat or pro-Republican, we just should be pro-Black people. Right? Only 2% of our $2 trillion is being put back into the Black community. So where you are putting your money says what you believe about you and your community. Put money back, even if we took it up to 10%. I say this all the time. We took it from 2 to 10%. It would drastically change the Black community, period. Right? So I would just say, instead of being worried about the crumbs that we get from the political parties, Democrat or Republican, we really should just self-insulate and really bake our own cakes. Let's bake, right? Instead of trying to figure out and canceling each other and all of that. It's just like, I think we just miss it. We miss it. We miss the point. We miss where we could really flex our muscles. And so I would just encourage you to really just think about where you put your money. I wouldn't personally put it into a Trump campaign. I would find somebody local and somebody that's qualified and Black, because there are qualified Black people all over the place. I think that the qualified Black businesses, qualified Black politicians, we here, right? So my name is Miss Black Hollywood. I'm also known as Tierra Williams. I'm also known as Karma J. Just depends on the day. And this is a ministry. Fly Nubian Money is a ministry that I've come to just absolutely love. I love getting with our queens every single day and having these conversations and really just talking it out, trying to figure it out. We don't I think there just needs to be spaces. There's no other space. Y'all know what I found out, Dr. Charm, Dr. Angeline? There is no other space on the internet where Black women go live 5 days a week having conversations around finance. There's not one, right? We do it here. So we appreciate that. I'm so grateful to produce it and be at, on the forefront and have these beautiful queens here with me. So I would just say today, support what we do. Make sure that you're sharing. Make sure that you're sharing these conversations. If you want to receive notifications, if you're new around here, when we go live, text Queens to 87948. That is Queens to 87948. And yeah, I'm gonna pack it up on that end. We are a little over time. We thank you for staying with us. Black Lexicon, dedicated, devoted fatherhood. Father, this is the third day I've seen you. We appreciate you. Deborah will win. You already know what it is. Anonymous, double A. I love y'all. I just do. I think Mama Walterine, what's going on? All of you, we just appreciate you. So on that note, we are going to get out of here. We will see you tomorrow, same time. Just make sure you check us out. All right.